This is wild, but there's 22 people running the Evolved Furnace inside of the top 200, and there's about 5 people running the standard version without even the evolution. It's 3rd and 6th in the world, and this is one of the things that always fascinates me about Clash Royale, guys, how all it takes sometimes is a small buff, and it can just be a 0.1 second hit speed buff for a card to go from being one of the worst cards in the game to one of the best again. Now, this phenomenon might make a little bit of sense, especially when they're buffing the biggest flaw of the card. So, what I'm talking about is no one ran the Furnace for the hit speed. I mean, everyone knows the Furnace's hit speed was bad, but because they buffed the worst aspect of the card, it just improved the card as a whole. And it's not even just the evolution, guys. There's a lot of people running the Furnace now inside of Royal Hog's cycle, basically, with the Evo Ghost and the Evo Pigs, because they want to use 2 other evolutions instead, and the standard Furnace is still very good for that extra support with the extra fire rate you're getting, just more DPS in general, and it's just going to be a bit better against swarms. This guy's going in really aggressively here. We need to go in for a defensive poison, and then we need to, I think, get a Furnace down here. I was considering going in for the Hero Ice Golem ability. He is going to get a lot of damage here, but let me tell you guys what, this counter push is going to be pretty deadly, I feel like. If he somehow defends this well after being that aggressive, I'm going to be a little mad. Yeah, okay, he did pretty well. He did defend that pretty well. Probably should have gone Bar Barrel with it, but either way, now I know what he's using. There's no surprises. The defensive poison is going to be a necessity, that's for sure, because the poison's going to be really good against the Inferno Drag. But anyway, as I was going to say, is the evolution especially, guys, got really buffed because of the fact that, well, it's basically spawning Fire Spirit every time it attacks. So that's why the evolution is now just really broken again. And of course, it's not prime level Furnace when it first came out. I mean, let's not get ahead of ourselves. But it is very, very good. And I would say it's maybe even a top 10 card in the game once again, which is crazy. All from one buff. But anyways, guys, let's go in for a push in the other lane. We can't really play into him, especially when he's got a bowler. Let me tell you guys, it's just pretty obnoxious. But we're going to get the ability here, and we're going to get some nice value out of that. And then we got the Evo Furnace on the back end, applying a ton of pressure, and it forced a lot of elixir out of him. So even though we didn't get a lot of damage there, that was a very successful push because it prevented him from going in. And he's going to go in for a bowler. We're going to try to hit him up other lane here. We're going to go Ice Golem Graveyard. We're going to pop the ability here. I believe that this should, if I'm not mistaken, it should just reset the Inferno Drag, hopefully. But either way here, we're going to go in for this. We're going to go in for a defensive poison here. And that is going to get attacked, which is exactly what I wanted there. And we're going to go in for this. And he does get a nice freeze. That's not going to take the tower, though, right? Yeah, it shouldn't, anyway. That Ice Golem didn't cross. I kind of screwed up there a little bit, I'm not going to lie, but he took a lot of damage from the graveyard. Okay, wow. This is probably going to wind up being a pretty close game, if I do say so myself. He NATOs that in. Gosh, I'm, like, butchering what I'm saying. Okay, we're going to apply pressure other lane here. We're going to Furnace, I guess, this lane to try to make sure we have dual lane pressure coming in. Wow, that Hero Knight ability was pretty nuts by him. I'm gonna give credit where it's due. We might have to try to get a graveyard going here when he's low and hope for the best. Oh! See ya later! Let's go. Oh my... Whew. Here we go, guys. In our next match, after that intense game 1, we're against a canonneer deck, which is potentially a very good sign. Although, if he's got canonneer, he might have a spammy deck with the Dark Gob, and the Dark Gob is going to be quite good against the graveyard, as you guys know. So this should be quite a match, potentially like the first match we played. So Skeleton's there to pressure, and he is going to go in for a Void, which does kill the Furnace. We can go in for a Cannon here, though. Don't have the slightest clue what this guy's using. He might be using E-Golem. Yep. And well, I guess we'll see if I'm happy if I was right or not, because that could be quite annoying. But we'll see how this goes. We do have the poison, though. Poison's going to be pretty phenomenal against the Night Witch, as you guys know. And this is a pretty fat, juicy poison right here. I think, well, actually, hold on a second. Do we even want to take it? That's the question. We might need to poison the other lane here and go in for this. That ability was pretty bad by him. We got to watch out here. Okay, got to go in for this now. I think that defense looked weird, but I actually think that was probably the best way we could have defended that. As weird as that was, because if I poisoned the Night Witch, we wouldn't have been able to defend the Skeleton King. We need to get a nice little poison here on top of this Wizard. I'm hoping we can get a lot of damage. Wizard is getting overwhelmed, guys, and this should be tower down. Really good stuff over there on the counter push. Sometimes you got to do that. You have to be okay taking damage, knowing there's a high chance you're going to screw them over more on the counter push. And that's exactly what happened there. It was a bit of a gamble. I wasn't even sure. I thought maybe, okay, there's a chance he was even going to take my whole tower. But I knew the counter push was going to be difficult for him to stop, especially with the Evolved Furnace, guys, which we conveniently had in Cycle. So we'll just go in for the Hero Ice Golem here. We're going to try to set up a defense. We're going to go Furnace this lane. We do got to watch out, guys, for the Skeleton King, but this time around I am going to go in for a poison on the Night Witch. We definitely need it, and we could also go Evo Cannon just to kill it, basically, and, oh wow, we target the Wizard. I'd like to call that a prediction. It was not a prediction, but we could just call it that, guys, just to try to aura farm, and we'll go with Cannon here. He's probably going to go in for the Evo Skarmy. Yeah, there it is, just ready for the poison, guys. Poison is a very good counter to the Evo Skarmy, even though it is, in fact, a negative trade. You're still getting it off the map, and oftentimes you are going to be able to hit multiple units at once, especially when you're in double elixir, which usually is the time where they go in for the Evo Skarmy. So, of course, it's going to be worse against the Evo Skarmy than arrows, for example, but it's not half bad. I would definitely consider it probably a top 3 Evo Skarmy counter. Well, nah, maybe it's 4th, because I would also consider the Earthquake a really good counter to the Evo Skarmy as well, guys. But nonetheless, as we're yapping about the poison being a counter to the Evo Skarmy, we are going to walk away pretty easily with the second win over here, and we'll go into our next match here, which we do find right away. The last time it did take a little bit of queue time, so I did edit out the search time, but this time, guys, we do find it right away. We're against HP Loves Lewis over here, so we can just go ahead and start with the Furnace. It's going to be a very safe starting play, just get some pressure going. Not really a big overcommitment at all. Well, and right as I talk about an overcommitment, 3 Musketeers first play, not a bad play at all, though, because I did, in fact, cycle my Furnace, so you can kind of think of it as a 5 elixir 3 Musketeer in a way. We'll just go in for the Cannon here. Should be a pretty nice counter to the Battle Ram, and then we'll just try to clean up here with the Bar Barrel, and that's going to be pretty easy defense. The question is if this guy has minions or not. If this guy doesn't have minions, the Graveyard is going to be really difficult for him to stop. But he also might have a pump, which does make things kind of interesting as well. We actually do have to go in for a Graveyard on top of the pump here to hopefully deal some damage to it. We are going to get poisoned down on top of the minions, and hopefully, guys, we can get some good damage here. This might be really solid. If we pop this... Ooh, I mean... Well, I would say... I'd say him getting a King activation was probably worth it for us. I mean... If his tower had 2,000 health, I would say probably not. But with... he's up a lot of elixir. I don't know. Okay, this is going to be a little hard. Let's see how this defense goes. Let's see how this goes. This is going to not be easy to defend. Let's just get a Barber. Wow, he still goes in for the... Okay, I'm surprised that he went in... Okay. Wow. He might have messed up there a little bit. I feel like he had more potential there. I thought he was going to go Battle Ram with the 2 Musketeers. He made that defense easier for me. We kind of split up the... Okay, he's going to go Hero Ice Golem as well as Bar Barrel. That is going to deal with the Evo Furnace, but all that is going to go down in the process. And we actually could go in for a Hero Ice Golem here just to try to scare him a little bit. Yeah, like, I wasn't intending on going Graveyard, but it was to just kind of get him to play something... I think this time around, though, we maybe want to go in. Even though he does have the King activated, I still think it doesn't hurt to, yeah, try to get some pressure going here. That ability was kind of a waste, though. You can see, guys, the rework Graveyard allows you to get damage even when they got the King up. It's pretty crazy. We'll go in for the Furnace here. And, okay, so yeah, he is going to go for the 3 musketeers. I kind of was intentionally waiting to use the Evo cannon until he played them, so patience kind of was key there. We'll go in for a poison here, and then we'll just go in for a nice little bar barrel to clean up everything. And once again, this should be pretty easily defended, and things are looking pretty dang solid at this point. Wow. Wait, we should pop the ability because it's going to end up getting us some damage, slowing everything down, which of course is pretty clutch. This Evo Furnace is just going to go pretty nuts here. And then now at this point, really all we need is like 1 skeleton connection and, well, I guess, you know, then 2 poisons or something. We'll get a bar barrel going here, and then I guess we need cannon on top of the... that bar barrel was kind of bad, I'm gonna be real. He's up a lot of elixir. I don't think he... Is he gonna pump again? I'm actually not sure. We're just gonna poison this, though. We do have our Evo cannon, so I'm feeling somewhat okay about this situation. Yeah, let's just go in for the Evo cannon, I guess. Hitting pretty much absolutely nothing. That's okay, though. Wow, the Hero Ice Golem went kind of crazy there. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, we're looking really good now. We can just poison this once again. We're just looking for some somewhat decent defense at this point, I suppose. Please, that Evo Battle Ram. Oh my gosh, bro. Ooh, it splashed on. I like that. Now it's pretty much over, I think, question mark? Wow, that didn't die, what the heck. My gosh, the spam is relentless. Alright, well, we just saved ourselves a little bit of time. Yeah, there we go. We got the tower. That's going to be GG. Nice win over there. Make sure to like, subscribe, create a code boss, and thanks again. Till next time, guys.